Kim-Adele Randall is with us from England, and she has a brand new book, which I absolutely love, called The Curious Leader. So why is it so important that leaders be curious?
I think because we've all been taught to do the opposite. So we've been taught as leaders that we should know all of the answers, that we should always be the one that seems to be in control. And yet, if we know all of the answers, we can only go as far as we've already gone. What we need to do is have the confidence to be curious about what we don't know yet. And you've got to have the confidence to be vulnerable enough to not know the answer. And it's all about the importance of having a vulnerability without losing credibility. So it's a really fine line. And because of that, people tend not to make that leap. They're worried that if I ask you what you can see that I can't see, that you might doubt what I know. Well, I know what I know. What I don't know is what you know. In my view, my people are my customers. The teams I lead are my customers. Yes, if I don't deliver what they need, they won't want to work for me. And if they don't want to work for me, I don't have a job. Because we all know that, I think the research shows that 57% of people leave the leader, not the organization. 57%.
Oh, definitely. Oh, that makes so much sense too.
If it's a good person that's gone, your credibility is knocked because everybody knows they're a good person. And the fact that they've left means they've left you. So people wonder about what else is going on in that space. So, for me, I've always thought that the best way to find out what's going on for somebody is to ask them. We used to have queues. When I was first in the bank, you'd have queues of people on a Friday lunchtime. Everyone hated Friday lunchtimes because everybody would be irate by the time they got to the front. And even though you were manning every single till, there was still a humongous queue. And so we started to go through the queue and identify what the people were there to do, because there might be a different way of us being able to benefit them. So it might be teaching them how they could pay that bill through the ATM instead of having to queue on their Friday lunchtime. Might make their day. It might be helping. And I was their top salesperson. So I'd find out that actually I could save them money on their mortgage. They already had a mortgage. So I wasn't selling them anything. They already had one. I could just make it cost less. That's nice. So you already have it. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just going to give you back some money. How does that sound? That sounds good. Let's go over here. But you did.
Let's go over. Here we go.
But you did it because you were curious. Can I ask what it is you've come here to do? Is there something I can do that's going to help you while you're waiting? Can I understand what's important for you right now? What's going on in your world? Because we make assumptions. How many times do we tell ourselves that we can't do this because so-and-so will think? Well, have they thought that? Have you asked them that? So I remember with my first ever coach, and I was convinced I was giving this coach because I was hopeless, even though the evidence said that I probably wasn't hopeless. And in fact, I remember the guy sitting down saying, tell me what's going on. And I was like, well, I'm pretty rubbish at my job. And he went, okay, do you have any facts for that? And I went, no, but at least I know. I was really proud of myself because at least I knew. And he went, oh, okay. Is there any evidence you might be good at your job? I went, no, none. It's like, okay, can I share with you some facts? And I was like, yeah, please, anything. Yeah, I'm willing. I might not be able, but I am willing. And he was like, okay, haven't you just hit your third quarter of consecutive double-digit growth? I went, yeah, I have. He went, right. Do you not have the most engaged team in the entire global organization? And I said, yeah. He said, in fact, isn't your engagement score higher than the 5-year aspiration? Yeah. And he went, didn't you just get given leader of the year? And I went, yeah. He went, and with these facts, would you like to change your viewpoint? And I went, no, not really. And I realised now how disengaged that was. But he then asked me to go, he said, what I need you to do, go and ask friends, family, colleagues, people that you trust, be really honest with them and say you need their brutal honesty because you're doing some self-development. And what you would like is 1 or 2 areas that they admire about you and 1 or 2 ways where you get in your own way. It's like a good girl, off I did, went and did this. And what came back almost unanimously was brave and fearless. I didn't get that. I lived in fear every day. Fear of being found out, fear of being a failure, fear of being seen to be a fraud. And so I had to ask a few more questions. And I was like, I don't understand. Can you please help me? Where do you get brave and fearless? And the feedback came back that they were like, Kim, you will up sticks and you will move to somewhere where you know nobody for a job you're not convinced you can do. And I went, okay. And they went, that's brave and fearless. And I went, interesting. I've spent all these years thinking you thought I was flighty and a little bit stupid. But I hadn't asked you. I'd thought it. I lived my life assuming that's what you thought, but I didn't have the courage to actually ask you what you thought. How different would life be if we asked people instead of assuming what it is they think of us?
Wow. And how often are we doing that? I mean, you were young and naive, and yet, even as we get older, we're still making those assumptions. They may not be as broad. We may have been convinced that we're good at a few things, hopefully, by a certain age.
There now.
Yeah, better now. Yeah. But how often are we doing that? Yeah. Yeah. I know when my husband passed away last year, I thought, well, you know, business is going to fall apart and, you know, nobody's going to want to work for me anymore. And the clients will all run away. And I guess I'll just, go lie down now and, wear black and Velcro my wrist to my forehead because my life is now over, right? And in the first month, we didn't miss a single email. We didn't miss a single text. We didn't miss a single voicemail. I wasn't there. I did nothing, My team checked on me every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. They took over almost everything we were doing with the clients. The clients all were thrilled. They did things that I probably should have been asking them to do sooner because they are fantastic at it. And some of the things that they're better at than I am, I should have asked them to do. But I was sure that this was, that I would, and I also was sure that I wouldn't have the courage to come back.
And you did.
And I did, yeah. But it's interesting. And even at this age, yeah.
I think that's the thing. We convince ourselves that we can't do a thing. That there's going to,
so it's going to be too hard.
It's going to be too hard. We can't do it in the way that
Yeah.
we could do it because we don't have the same things around us. And yet, every single one of us has survived 100% of the shots life's taken.
Yeah.
One hell of a batting average.
Yeah, and those elements. We don't remember those things. The super weird thing is we have now more projects 7 months on than we did before. The team is now getting a lot of them, and I have now I have this humongous project, and I get to go to Spain for months, and so I think making those assumptions is really a dangerous thing.
Yes. And for me, that's why curiosity is so important, and curiosity about self as much as everything else.
So you never thought about that as a leader, the curiosity of self, asking. And I think it's weird, I asked my team, I know I haven't, I said, no, I haven't been there for you and I haven't done and they were like, we think you're a great leader. What are you talking about? And I went, oh, you're just being nice. And I'm like, no, you gave us everything we needed in order to be able to do this next phase. And no one, it's just, so it's really interesting that I think, it's really easy to not see ourselves as the rest of the world sees us.
It is. And we're not curious. And we're not curious. I grew up with the phrase, curiosity killed the cat. And it wasn't until I was
right. Yeah.
That I realized that's half the phrase. So
There's
I thought,
more?
Yeah. So the actual phrase is curiosity killed the cat and satisfaction brought it back. So curiosity killed the version of itself that it was. And the satisfaction it got from what it learned grew it into its next version. Well, that's a game changer. That means curiosity is our path to growth, not the thing we should be most afraid of. And for me, that changed everything. That's why curiosity is such an amazing part. Because it's like once we start to get curious about self, like, why am I so convinced I'm right? Why am I so convinced you're wrong? You see that I can't see. Once we start to be comfortable with that, with questioning ourselves on that, why does this feel so big for me? Because everything that happens, our emotional brain responds 24 times faster than our thinking brain. So something happens and we make it mean something. But what I make it mean could be very different from what you make it mean, because it will depend on our lived experience and what we've experienced things like this before. And so we're now dealing with how it made us feel. So we can end up in conflict very quickly because of how we're
Mm-hmm.
feeling about it instead of what's
Mm-hmm.
actually happening. So I
Mm-hmm.
constantly ask myself all the time, what's happening and what have I made it mean? Because if this feels emotional
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's because I've
Mm-hmm.
made it mean something. So
Right.
let me separate those two out. The emotion I'm going to have to deal with, but I don't have to deal with it right now in this moment because it might not help. It might not add any value to anybody. So I'll put that over there.
Right. Yeah.
I can deal now with the facts, with what's factually going on. I can, in when you do conflict, I do a lot of conflict resolution. What's happening
Mm.
is both parties are going, you are not listening, when the reality is nobody's being heard. So you're busy trying to say, you're not listening to me, but I'm not listening to you either. Because I just want to give you
Mm-hmm.
my point of view and I want you to accept
Mm-hmm.
mine. But you can't accept mine until yours has been heard. So
Right.
once you get curious with, okay, we've got conflict here, this isn't going well, let me first understand what you're trying to do. And I'm going to understand from a position of curiosity. And the reason for curiosity is curiosity comes without judgment. When we're curious about something, we're not there to try and prove it right or wrong. We're just there
Mm-hmm.
to try and understand it. So we don't have to agree or disagree with it. We're just learning about it. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
curious. Tell me what's going on for you. Tell me what a good outcome would look like for you. Because once I understand that, it might be that there's a lot of commonality in there. It
Mm-hmm.
might be that some of the things that you want are some of the things that I want. And actually, what we're stuck in is misunderstanding. And
Mm-hmm.
misunderstanding can always be solved.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be that there has to be something else that's done. But all of a sudden, we can start to see commonality. And when we can agree on the commonality, the problem becomes solvable because we're not so
Mm-hmm.
different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're not so misaligned. We've just got an area that needs more work.
That's brilliant. I think it's something about making the relationship, whether it's a professional relationship, it's leader and team, or particular person on the team, or friend or spouse or whatever, but or child and parent, it's making that relationship more important than needing to be right in the moment. And, I think it's sort of like, instead of looking at each other and you're the problem, saying, wait, no, here's the problem outside of us. And here we are together, holding hands,
Yeah.
metaphorically, looking at the problem and going, everything has a solution, if not 10 or 50. Let's pick one that's really good. And we both walk away going, oh, yay. And the relationship is preserved, whether, professional or romantic or whatever. And I think that's the most powerful thing that we can give another human being, really.
It's so true because I think, you one of the problems is we get wedded to being right instead of being wedded to the right thing being done.
Oh, say that again. I love
So
that.
we get wedded to being right instead of being wedded to the right thing being done. Once we're wedded
Wow.
to the right thing being done, doesn't matter if I get the credit for it or you do. Doesn't matter if
Mhm.
somebody picks up my idea and says it's theirs, as long as the right thing happened. But once we get comfortable with that, once we get in that space where it's like, that's okay. It's more important to me that the right thing gets done than it is that I get to prove that I'm right. And so I often find when conversations get more challenging, that actually there's a great book called Crucial Conversations. And it talks about the fact
Mhm.
that when those conversations happen, and they happen in life or in business or whenever,
Mhm.
what happens is one or both parties are coming at it from a position of fear. Fear of being made to look stupid, fear of made to look wrong, fear of something happening that they don't want. Doesn't matter what the fear is, but they've got some fear. And so that's what they're driving from. Not is not having whatever they're fearful of happen. And so if you start the conversation by sharing some vulnerability, they feel less on the attack. So I'll often, start those conversations with, I'm really conflicted about sharing this. But if that's what I'm feeling, I'm always honest, whatever it is. Or, in
Mhm.
some cases, I'd really rather do anything else in the world than have this conversation. And then why am I having it? So I'd really rather not have it. However, I know I need to because if not, we're not going to resolve the problem, whatever the problem is. And then I always set my intention. And my intention is always, I am 100% committed to finding a solution that works for all of us. And the reason I put that one in is now the emotion that was up here, we've got a line. So the intention is our line. So whatever we share after that, even if it doesn't work for the other person, we can go, okay, I get that that doesn't work, but let's come back to the intention. We're 100% committed to find a solution that works for everybody. So tell me what your solution might be. And if that doesn't work for me, I can go, well, that won't quite work for me, but I know we're both committed to finding one that does. How about we tweak it and do this? So now we're down here in that collective, nicely metaphorically hand holding that you shared, Sarah, of solving the problem together instead of up here in the we are battling over who gets to be right.
Wow. I think that's one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard in my entire life. I am so incredibly honored to have you as a part of the Inspiring Victory tribe at the Inspiring Victory show. Please do us a favor. We really need your help. Please like, subscribe, share, write a comment. It makes a huge difference with how many people we can reach here at the Inspiring Victory show, and it makes a big difference to me personally. I want to make sure that we're providing content to as many people as we possibly can so they can grow and succeed. So we'd love to have you continue your membership here at the Inspiring Victory Show. It's free. Helping us out costs nothing, but it makes a huge difference in how many people we can help. So double your business, double your impact, and change the world. And thank you so much for being a part of this extraordinary community. Thank you. I remember reading one of the old Wayne Dyer books where he said, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And that stuck with me. And I'm like, oh, well, I genuinely, I want to be right all the time. Why can't I be right all the time? And then I realized, happy is more important, but there's a happy medium of making sure that it's the goal is more important than the being right. And that does lead to happiness. There's an in-between stage of, yes, you may be right. And oftentimes, I love when I discover I am wrong. It's like, the Benjamin Franklin line of I could be wrong, but, and then you fill it in. And then you discover you actually are wrong and you've buffered it a little bit. Thank God for him. But yeah, there's that in-between stage of I am right, everyone else is wrong, and I'm triggered and emotional and, all upset. If I can't wait to show everyone how right I am. And then that middle stage of wait. We need to preserve the relationship. We need to work together, or we need to, play together, whatever those things are. And again, that curiosity, that curious leader, whether you're leading yourself, you're leading your team, you're leading the world, that, getting curious about what it is that we can do to create an outcome that we both love, that we both absolutely love, as you said. And that does lead to everyone being a whole heck of a lot happier, I've discovered.
Nobody really felt that happy in that I told you so moment.
No, I think that's the least happy anyone ever is. No one's ever said, oh, he said, yeah, no one's ever said, he said, I told you so, and it felt great. Like that's never been a thing.
Why would we do that? It's like, is that your goal? Is your goal to make somebody feel bad? How do we help people feel the best version of themselves? It's like one of the things that I've always tried to do with Scarlett is keep her separate from the action. So you are not naughty.
My daughter who's
nine
and is spectacular, and the most fabulous child ever. Yes,
I am biased. She is epic,
but she is epic. Yes, I am biased as well. Yes,
that like you're not naughty or good. You make naughty choices and you make good choices, but they're just choices. And the beauty of choices is you make one that doesn't serve you, you can make a brand new one. But the problem is we've taught people to take the label. So I made a naughty choice, therefore I'm naughty. Well, that becomes the way you talk about yourself. That becomes the way you see yourself. That becomes the way you show up in the world. Whereas when you just go, these are just choices. I've made some choices that have gone really well for me.
Yeah.
And as you know, I've made some choices that have gone really badly for me.
Well, you learn from those things, and we've all made dumb choices, which didn't, but at the time they looked fine. I mean, I think half of life is make a choice, decide it was the right one, because you either learned something or it turned out great. Either one is really excellent.
Absolutely. I do believe everything in life is a lesson, a blessing, or both. So in the moments where I don't feel blessed, I look for the lesson. The blessing's right there. I learned something. I
Yeah.
grew. I developed.
Mhm.
And so I'm trying to help Scarlett learn that. And I try and help
Yeah.
the people that I work with learn that. That says, don't make it about you. It's not about you. It's about something that's going on near you. But when you make it about you, you emotionally respond to that. It feels
Mhm.
personal. And usually it's
Mhm.
got nothing at all to do with you. People are projecting out what's going on for them in their world.
Yeah. Yeah. Even Shakespeare said, there is no good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Yeah, I love that
There
quote.
is no good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And it really is true. There are times when I'm thinking, oh, this is bad. And I think, is it really? Oh, well, not really. No, actually.
Everything in the world only exists if its equal and opposite also exists. There is no light without dark. There's no up without down. There's no left without right. So whatever it is that we're fearful of only exists to us if we can accept that what we're hopeful for also exists for us. And once we understand that, the dark's less dark.
Brilliant. Well, thank you as always. You're mind-blowingly fabulous. I love working with you. I love bringing you in on projects. I love that you are always sending us ideas and referrals and bringing us in on things as well. So, we're honored to have you as a part of the Victory Company and honored to just know you as a human being. You're one of those quality human beings that I think we all want to be when we grow up, just like you. Yeah.
Bless you.
Well, thank you. And everybody go buy the book, The Curious Leader. It's very good. She's very good. Reach out and ask her lots of questions. You'll get more Kimisms to stick on your wall. And, you'll be not just a curious leader, you'll be a successful leader and successful at anything you want to do at your company. So honored to have you on as always, Kim-Adele Randall. We love you. And if you want to know how to reach out and talk to Kim-Adele, it will be in all the various show notes, so you can click right on and get straight through to her. Thank you for being on the Inspiring Victory Show, Kim-Adele,
Good to
and thank you for watching. And I know you got a lot out of this content. If you're continuing to get great things out of this content and want more, like and share and send it to somebody you know who could really use a boost, because Kim-Adele is always a boost to everyone that she interacts with, and a joy to listen to and see. Thank you so much for being on the show. Hi to Scarlett. Hi to Putting the Dog. And thanks so much for joining us. It's
Uh,
always a joy. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.